discuss here on the show. So coming up on the show today, we'll be taking a look at the NPP presidential primaries, the campaign going on so far. Today we're getting into the quarters of Team Ken. Right, so we're looking at the youth. And so we'll be speaking to Edwin Ochebuatin. He's the youth spokesperson for Team Ken. We'll talk to him about the campaign so far, the message of Kennedy Agyapong, and several other issues. And of course, last night we had the detention of the former Maslock CEO, Sedina Tamaklo Ationu in the US. We'll tell you more about that also on the show. For now, Equia Bibi is standing by to bring us the news update. Equia, take us away.
Thank you, Desi. You're welcome to Newsbeat. Let's take a look at the headlines for this afternoon. Former Maslock boss Sedina Tamaklo Ationu has been arrested and is currently being held in custody in the United States following the execution of an extradition request submitted by Ghanaian authorities. Also, Vice President Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman this morning met with stakeholders at the Transport Ministry to tackle rising transport fares and delays. And also, the Just One Leadership Conference 2026 ends today. We will bring you live happenings from the Pentecost Convention Center in Gomwa. Details coming up shortly. Please do stay with us. Hello again, my name is Equia Bibi. Now let's begin with the bulletin. And former Maslock boss Sedina Tamaklo Ationu has been arrested and is currently being held in the custody in the United States following the execution of an extradition request submitted by Ghanaian authorities. According to a press release issued by Victor Emmanuel Smith, she is being detained at the Nevada Southern Detention Center located at 2190 East Mesquite Avenue in Pahrump, Nevada. Here's Ambassador Victor Smith's statement. And it says, I can today confirm that Mrs. Sedina Tamaklo Ationu is being detained at the Nevada Southern Detention Center, 2190 East Mesquite Avenue, Pahrump, Nevada. My information is that she was detained by U.S. Marshals on January 6th and has since been kept at the detention center. I am reliably informed that acting on an extradition request sent to the U.S. authorities sometime in July 2024, U.S. Marshals arrested Mrs. Tamaklo Ationu and placed her in detention to await her day in court. Well, we will explore that story later on the show. But away from that, Vice President Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman has met with the Ministry of Transport to engage sector leadership on the persistent challenges confronting public transportation, particularly in the Greater Accra region. The visit comes amid growing public concerns over the reduced availability of commercial vehicles during peak hours, inflated transport fares, and long waiting times, especially during the morning and evening rush periods.
I was made aware earlier in the day that you had a meeting. Of your meeting, you get more details that the ministers can share with us so that we can all team together in finding a solution. It's not an amusing situation. I've gone to the market, I've gone to school, I've gone wherever I need to go to, and I need to return. And having queues all over the place is not the most effective way of anybody spending their time, especially if you consider the kinds of frustrations that the situation is causing. As the Chief of Staff, my Chief of Staff has said, we can also become victims of our own success. You know, when we saw the crowds in town, we all thought, oh, it's just Christmas, which was more or less expected. But it doesn't look like the crowd has left. And therefore, there are persistent issues, and we need to resolve them. So the transport sector seemed to have been waiting to exhale, and you are now exhaling, which is good. But in the process of exhaling, we need to team up and resolve the issues. So these are some of the comments I need to make. And I also appreciate your impatience in getting the problems resolved. Yes, even if for 10 years you haven't had support, it doesn't mean that going forward you should never get support. So we understand, but we also want to plead for your patience. We all know the situation. We all know all kinds of deaths and situations we need to resolve. We are not complaining. We are just asking everybody's support, everybody's patience in finding solutions that work for the benefit of all of us in this country. So on behalf of His Excellency the President, I want to thank you very, very much for your support and cooperation, which you have demonstrated so far. And I know we can count on it going forward. And especially for making the effort to meet with us this morning. I'm very, very grateful. And I also want to thank you for your support for the, is it the 15% reduction or so? Yes. And that's important because it cushions commuters. And who are the commuters? If they're not from my home, excuse me to say they are from your home. So they are it's about all of us. So thank you very, very much. But recently we have received all the reports about the stresses that commuters are facing, especially during rush hours in the morning and worse in the evening. I saw one and it wasn't amusing at all, you know. And sometimes the problem is caused by all kinds of situations, including even exploitation by some of our own drivers. Some long, long queues at bus stops and terminals, congestion, and all kinds of stresses that come with this situation.
Now let's stay on transport-related issues and speaking on Good Morning Ghana to back up his earlier remarks on the crisis. The presidential spokesperson Felix Ofosu-Kwakye emphasized that there's no justification to increase lorry fares, as such action can only be motivated by greed.
Oats, Starkist, Calipo, Coca-Cola, oil, Kokonte, yam, palm fruits, all those things have come up.
Okay.
So when you go out and say that it is more expensive, it is not true. The reason why cement prices have dropped is that when they brought clinker in bulk, 60,000 metric tons, in April last year, at an exchange rate of 15 cedis to a dollar, you were going to pay 16 million Ghana cedis as duty. By December last year, it had dropped to 11 million. So that's a saving of 4.5 million Ghana cedis in duty payment. So definitely, because it's an input into the production of cement, it will come down. And indeed, the price of cement has gone down. Everybody knows this in this country. So when you go out and say that, oh, the cost of living is higher now, even though the dollar has gone, it is a blatant falsehood. You are seeking to exploit the sensibility of people. There's a transportation crisis, and that transport fares have gone up. Moro,
yes,
I've showed you that fuel prices have gone down. Is that not so?
Right.
Fuel prices have gone down. Is that not so?
Yeah.
In the fixing of transportation cost, what do they factor in? Fuel price,
yeah,
right? If there are some taxes, and then the cost of spare parts, or the cost of the vehicle itself. So when you import the vehicle and you bring it in, I have showed you that the duty has reduced substantially.
Yeah.
When you go and buy fuel, now they are selling fuel under 10 cedis in some filling stations here. So it has come down from 14, 15 cedis in 2025. Not so.
Yeah.
When you go and buy spare parts, that one too has come down. In terms of taxes, e-levy is gone, COVID levy is gone, betting tax is gone, sanitation levy is gone. So what would motivate anybody to increase transport fares apart from greed and rent seeking? And how do you even attribute that to government? What should government have done that it has not done in terms of the conditions that lead to pricing that should lead to an escalation in the price of these items or transport fares. So there are a few drivers who, because of the Yuletide season, sought to take advantage of the demand, high demand in transport services, to increase their transportation fares. And then what they do is that instead of going to the stations that we know of, they decide to roam, especially in rush hours, and then charge exorbitant rates to exploit customers.
Okay.
But there's no justification whatsoever. I heard one of them say that, oh, the price of kinky has gone up. Moro, you were buying a bag of maize for kinky at 1,600 cedis a bag. Today you buy the same thing for 800 cedis. If you use gas to prepare the kinky, the price of gas too has gone down. Even if you use charcoal, the price of a bag of charcoal has gone down. What justification is there to increase the price of kinky? So government has done this part, and it has reflected in the price reductions in thousands of items. But there are few people engaged in rent-seeking behavior, which is not an unusual phenomenon. There are those who want to make supernormal profit.
Meanwhile, Deputy Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, Samuel Amoah, has expressed disappointment over claims by the Minister in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwakye Ofosu, that transport operators have deliberately hoarded vehicles to make passengers stranded. In an earlier interaction on Good Afternoon Ghana, he explained that majority of the vehicles are currently parked at the workshops undergoing maintenance and not hidden to inconvenience the public.
Of Government Communications, Felix Kwakye Ofosu, has attributed the recent deterioration in transport services to illegal practices by some private transport operators, claiming that certain drivers create artificial shortages during peak hours to hike fares and boost profits. Deputy PRO of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, Samuel Amoah, has described the assertion as disappointing.
What we heard from Honorable Felix Ofosu about we deliberately, decided not to allow vehicles to come and, pick passengers, and that is the reason why passengers are stranded in town. We are a bit disappointed in him. The reason being that, this is our business that we do. We can't buy vehicles for the vehicles. We ask the drivers to go and work. At the end of the day, we ask the drivers to park the cars.
According to him, the situation highlights the challenges facing the private transport sector. He urged the government to support operators by facilitating access to vehicles to improve transport services.
The challenge is that, number one, you see, this challenge is there, all right? But it keeps increasing. The reason being that of late, most of the vehicles are parked at the workshops, and car owners, find it very difficult to repair, most of the vehicles. You can pick, your cameras and, for us to go around to most of the workshops, and you see vehicles being parked, for months, for years, that, they find it very difficult to repair them. But, we complained to the government. We requested from the government that the government should even assist us by getting more vehicles to run.
The situation underscores the urgent need for coordinated action between the government and private operators to stabilize urban transport.
Now let's move away from that, and it is the final day of the 2026 Just One Group of Companies Leadership Conference, and the spotlight is firmly on health excellence and appreciation. After 5 days of impactful leadership conversations, today's session culminates in the much anticipated awards and dinner night, where outstanding individuals and organizations within the group are being honored for their dedication, resilience, and exceptional contributions to the growth of the conglomerate.
Limited. This is like my second time coming to Ghana, and this program has been awesome. From the topic selection to the writer, to the speakers, they has been awesome. From the program, I've learned to lead. Leadership start from day one, not from when you have the position of maybe the MD or the chairman. From the little position you are holding presently, leadership start there, and I want to endure everyone that we should try to be a good leader. We should do things people will be able to emulate.
So you just came to 11 year, you came here to make this program from Jesuit Grove part of Tamale and Accra. So always year ending, you just come and celebrate how the company grow and then bring new visions and then new ideas how the company will go. Anytime you come here on any years, then you will come and do the promotions and then advertise the company and then how we find it, the business will grow. Anytime you came here, you just bring any companies, any corner, any countries will come here, you share the ideas for the Jobs Fund group and the new vision to come there, then we take ideas to do the companies, the company will go long life and the long years will go.
And this program has been very insightful. I've learned a lot, and then I've learned to be bold, to be courageous, and go out there, face my fears, and then succeed. It was very impactful, and my team over here, we are very grateful for this gathering or this event, and we hope that and we pray when we get back to Volta region, we'll do more and better than what we have been doing before. Our stakeholders' engagement will be strengthened, and most of the things that we are lacking will strengthen on it.
So my review about the program, it's been so far so good. A lot has been learned here for personal development and career development. My take here is to go out there and be yourself.
In fact, this year 2026 Leadership Conference has been awesome. It's been impactful, very innovative. We groom leaders. And trust me, I'm sure before we all leave here, we'll be doing great things in our individual subsidiary. This year has been extraordinary, and we know that coming year will be awesome.
This leadership conference has been one of the best since I started attending the conference 7 years ago. I have learned so much and I've been so impacted. And one thing that has resonated with me is that leadership is not a position, but it is about legacy and how many people you are able to impact. And so that is going with me. And I'm encouraging all other JOSPON employees to be part of this program in the coming year.
From Monday till now, I can say that the program has been very, very interesting. We've learned a lot. One take home that I have taken is I need to celebrate my small winnings. Most of the times we do a lot of stuff and then we focus on what didn't go well. And so we end up not appreciating the little wins that we receive at the end of the day. And so we should learn to celebrate our wins in the smallest possible way. We shouldn't wait for it to be a big win before we celebrate. So that's one take home that I have received ever since I came here, amongst other things that I have received. Oh, they should try and come next year. I would say that most of the times we pay huge sums of money to go for such conferences, and if you are getting it free every year, you should take advantage of it and then try and then come and then acquire some skills, some knowledge, network with other people, and then at the end of the day you go home refreshed and then ready to go for another year.
This year's edition of the JLC, that is the 2026, has been very exciting, and the general overview of this exercise has been interesting, looking at the renowned speakers that we are having. For me, I enjoyed Madam Doris, the MD for Zoomlion PSL's presentation on values. And it's really interesting, and it's really kept us. So I believe that in the subsequent years, it's also going to be very interesting.
So there's the need to groom new leaders that will be fit for future operational needs. That is why this project is about. So as you can see, we've brought very good speakers who has content that will shape the leadership and future leadership for this company. Now, if you look at it, you could see that the Gen Zs are a very good number of this company. And as leadership says, somebody has to take over from somebody. And before somebody is taking over from you, that person should have the capabilities more than what you have.
Well, away from the Jospon Leadership Conference, let's take you to the camp of the New Patriotic Party, because a founding member of the party, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, has warned that the party is being pushed towards total destruction due to indiscipline, dishonesty, and what he describes as open vote buying within its internal processes.
Speaking earlier on Good Afternoon Ghana, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo said the situation within the party has deteriorated significantly, particularly under the leadership of former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. According to him, corruption has become entrenched in the party's internal elections, including indiscipline and dishonesty.
We are very much concerned about the indiscipline in the party. Indiscipline, that's dishonesty, which has brought corruption into the party. And it is unfortunate this had happened under the presidency of Akufo-Addo. It is very unfortunate. Because I have known Nana Akufo-Addo for years. And the way we look at issues now, just as Frimpong Boateng says, even to get a position in the party now, among the young people themselves. No, I don't know any other person who wants to compete for any position. I personally don't need any position in the party. But the young people among themselves now, if you don't have money to buy the position, then you are nobody.
Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo also defended former Environment Minister Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, whose recent comments has been at the center of controversy within the party, insisting he has every right to speak openly. He also expressed confidence that the NPP could recover ahead of the 2028 elections if the party corrects its course.
The party, those who really formed the party were Democrats. I was a junior at that time, a young man. But you talk of Aram Ponsa, you talk of VK Adama, you talk of Alhaji Yakubu Tali, you talk of, what do you call it, BJ Darocha, you talk of Ajenim Boateng. These are elderly people. They knew the reason why they got together to form a party. And they know why they named the party New Patriotic Party. It is a democratic party where people should express their views very, very freely. So Frimpong Boateng has every right to speak the way he spoke. If the party is properly organized and then leadership is genuinely picked, listen to me carefully. If leadership is genuinely picked, if that particular individual is popular among the grassroots and is picked, and not through intimidation and just vote buying, if we are able to get a leader like that, definitely we can stand there. Then this that I can afford.
Away from that, persistent water shortage in parts of the Lejikuku municipality is raising serious concerns about healthcare delivery at the Lejikuku Municipal Hospital, as patients and health workers struggle with limited access to water for sanitation, hygiene, and essential medical services. There's more in the following report.
The severe and prolonged water shortage in the Teshie Nungua enclave has escalated into a public health concern, with local clinics warning of spiraling infection risks and residents facing untenable living conditions. The crisis stems from the ongoing shutdown of the critical Teshie Nungua desalination plant, which has left entire communities without reliable access to clean water for months. Areas including Teshie, Nungua, Sphinx, Sakumono and La Hades Hills. Administrator of the Lekma Hospital, Janita De Palma, speaking to Metro News, explained how the hospital is losing money due to the water shortage.
We get water once a week. Sometimes we do have it twice, but most of the time it's just once a week. So when it starts flowing, we store in an underground tank. And then we also pump it back to the wards. Because it's once a week, we have to buy water. We buy water almost every time. So the tanker is 600 Ghana cedis. So if we are buying 3 tankers, so that's times 3. If you are buying 4 tankers, that's times 4 a day. And that also takes us about a day. Within a day, it gets finished. So if we don't have the taps flowing, then it means that the next day we have to buy water again.
She also bemoaned the public health impact of the water shortage on the community, urging government intervention.
For the community, I can assure you that if the water, they don't get water, cholera we all know about that, yes, it could arise. They should come in and help us.
The news team also engaged the municipal chief executive for Lejikuku, Israel Ajete, who assured that the water situation will be fully addressed by the end of February.
This is not only Teshi matter. Nungwa is also going through same. Tema West is going through same. La is going through same. If you check all the barracks, Bema camp, because schedule has been done and we are getting water once or twice within a week. Even with that, it is not enough. Are you getting me? So that's the issue.
Municipal Chief Executive for Krowo, Engineer Paul Afute, on his part, said the Member of Parliament is putting in place measures to supply residents in her constituency with water.
An award is about to be issued to a contractor to set up community storage tanks. What we'll do is to set up, 30,000 liters at each of the locations. What that will do is to give the community a storage point. Any time when we are fortunate, like the Ghana Water has announced that they have a roster where they pump water from surrounding stations into the network. When the water comes, our communities can have a storage point where they store water. When household water is depleted, they can fall on those community storage points.
The prolonged water shortage has blown into a public health crisis, with communities left questioning when or if their taps will ever flow again.
Well, that's all for the news updates here on Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Sekia Babu. The show continues after this break.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
Watch it, not learning. Missy, watch and learn. Makwaya besisia. Abozig. Akache say no ya konate and the more drink woman. Hey. But I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her old days. Eddie. Dabio, baby wom. Ready? Hey, baby wom. Ah, Ajay. I'll cause some discomfort. Ah. Sorry, well, uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral?
Say a sorry insecticide GB at a user. Co pharmacy in a shop biamu. Na mum say a pharmacy supermarket and a shop ra. Na repedudu to a cotonwa. On a Royal Dutch and a Aerofield Trading. Effie spray with diamond.
Speaking earlier on Good Afternoon Ghana, Dr. Nyahota Maklo said the situation within the party has deteriorated significantly, particularly under the leadership of former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. According to him, corruption has become entrenched in the party's internal elections, including indiscipline and dishonesty.
We are very much concerned about the indiscipline in the party. Indiscipline, that's dishonesty, which has brought corruption into the party. And it is unfortunate this had happened under the presidency of Akufo-Addo. It is very unfortunate. Because I have known Nana Akufo-Addo for years. And the way we look at issues now, just as Frimpong Boateng said, even to get a position in the party now, among the young people themselves. No, I don't know any other person who wants to compete for any position. I personally don't need any position in the party. But the young people among themselves now, if you don't have money to buy the position, then you are nobody.
Right, welcome back. This is Good Afternoon Ghana. We're wrapping up the week here. My name is Desmond Okrikodanso, and we're on till 2 p.m. We're live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana. You can watch us live on there, and also on the radio. It is 94.1 FM. So tune in on the radio. If you're stepping out in your cars, wherever that you are, you can also tune in to 94.1 FM and listen to us. DSTV, it says 277, and also on the multi-TV digital box. We are live on there also. So we're going to get into a conversation about the NPP presidential primaries. Today is 16th, right? So we have barely 2 weeks, exactly 2 weeks from tomorrow, for the January 31 presidential primaries, where you know that 5 aspirants are contesting to be elected flag bearer for the New Patriotic Party into the 2028 election. And of course, amongst the candidates, a number of them, there looks to be 3 that everybody is talking about. They are always in the news, right? And one of them is Mr. Kennedy Ohene Ejapong. And for them, they're saying, get connected, right? So today we're going to be talking about his campaign and really why delegates should be voting for him. But of course, we want to look at this also from the perspective of the youth. Very, very important, because after the 2024 election, a lot of conversations about the party losing its grassroots base, the youth and all of that. We want to talk about that and see how that is going for them. So Edwin Boateng has joined me here. He's youth spokesperson for Team Kennedy Ejapong, or Team Ken, and he has joined me on the table. Later we'll open the phone lines and you can also share your thoughts with us here on the show. Mr. Boateng, welcome to the program.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, happy New Year to you. We're still in the New Year mood, so happy New Year to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and same to you.
Right. So I understand you are in Canada.
Yes, sure.
And helping the party there in Canada.
Yeah.
For many of us, of course, we're in Ghana, so we will know how it is like in Ghana. But talk to us about NPP Canada. How strong is that base?
Well, good afternoon to you and your viewers and listeners as well.
Right.
Happy New Year to everyone. MPP is a very big party.
Right.
We all love MPP. We have a lot of people following MPP. Couple challenges, of course, but we are still trying to fix them gradually, looking for better leaders now to be able to take over for things to move on for us, So in Canada, I can just talk about Canada for now.
Right.
Canada, we have different branches under one chapter.
Okay.
So the chapter is the Canada chapter, and then we have different branches under it. So we have the Toronto one, we have the one in BC, that is Vancouver, we have one in Alberta, we have one in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Okay. So it's wide. Ghanaians are all over the world, and Ghanaians are all over depending on the country. And regardless of how cold Canada is, we are spread all over Canada. And we have MPP dominating the number of people living in Canada. From what we see in our gatherings that we've been having. So we have them all over the countries. That's why we have decided to make those branches. And they all have the executives, and sometimes we have conventions and conferences that we do talk a lot about our party.
So it's very active?
Very, very active.
Okay.
Very, very, very active over there.
And what was their reaction to the loss in 2024?
Terrible. We all moved in here to come and help our party to fight, to retain power.
Right.
It's unfortunate that the voters didn't buy our message due to certain challenges that they know best. The ones that we know, and we're trying to work on it. A typical example of what we know is a candidate that we need to change, which is His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia needs to be changed so that we can have someone that Ghanaians love, the one who has the organic love, the one who can push the agenda of Ghana, the one who has the youth at heart. And that is one of the reasons that we identified. When we came to Ghana, we fought. We went to almost all the constituencies. Some chosen constituencies as well were chosen by some of our leaders that they also went to, attended to those people, spoke to them, had all those discussions. Unfortunately, they didn't listen to us because of one or two reasons.
Okay.
But
I'll let you hold on to the reasons, and I'll come back to you. So for now, we're going to get into a different conversation real quick. It's one that came up a few hours actually at dawn, and that is the statement on the detention of Sedina Tamaklo Ationu, the former Maslok CEO. And we have lawyer Martin who will join us on Zoom now, so we get to talk about that real quick, and then we get back to our conversation. Yeah, lawyer, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us here on the program. You must be excited about this news. Hello, Lawyer Martin Kpebu, can you hear me? Okay. I think we have some challenges with that. Lawyer Martin Kpebu is on Zoom to speak to us. But let me just read the statement that came out. It says the arrest and detention of Mrs. Sedina Tamaklo Ationu says, and this from the Embassy of Ghana in the U.S. says that I can today confirm that Mrs. Sedina Tamaklo Ationu is being detained at the Nevada Southern Detention Center. It says my information is that she was detained by U.S. Marshals on January 6th and has since been kept at that detention center. I am reliably informed that acting on an extradition request sent to the U.S. authorities sometime in July 2024, U.S. Marshals arrested Mrs. Tamaklo Ationu and placed her in detention to await her day in court. And this signed by Ghana's ambassador to the U.S., His Excellency Victor Emmanuel Smith. So that's the latest on that particular case of Mrs. Sedina Tamaklo Ationu. Let's get back onto Zoom and see if we can connect with lawyer Martin Kpebu now. Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me now?
I can. Good afternoon.
Great, good to have you on here. So, as I read the statement out, this is good news.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good news. Extremely good news. You know, Madam Ationu was convicted, right? And that was sometime in 2024. Yeah. And so with this detention, it means that the processes for extradition can continue, because usually you need to arrest the person first. So once she's been arrested, then the rest of the process can be gone through, and then eventually she'll be brought back to Ghana. But what is critical to note is that under US law, even when they are done, when the judge makes the order for extradition, the final decision is a political one to be made by the Secretary of State. Right. That is our equivalent of the foreign minister. So in the US, they call their foreign minister the Secretary of State. So it's a political decision. So the judge can say, yes, bring Madam Ationu down, but the Secretary of State can look at the case, and for many reasons. So it's a political decision. Maybe they don't think that Madam Ationu will get the best of prison conditions on humanitarian grounds, different reasons. It's possible for the Secretary of State to decline. That's why we are calling on the US government to kindly make sure that once the order is made, they would bring her to Ghana, bring her to us, and not let a political consideration allow them to keep her. Also, I think it's fair that we can call on the NDC as a party to also send emissaries to her. That in actual fact, instead of fighting this extradition, she should just calm down. You see, I made a similar call on President Kufuor and the MPP party in respect of Ofori-Atta. So for NDC, I'm making a similar call. Why spend all the time fighting extradition, money and time and other resources? It's just, honorable to come back home quickly so that the embarrassment will cease. Ghana is being embarrassed internationally once the extradition proceedings continue, etc. So they should spare us the embarrassment, and both of them come home. That's Ofori-Atta and Madam Ationu.
Right. So you mentioned that it's a decision that's left to the Secretary of State to make. But in as much as she's been convicted, how can we, as a country, also make sure that we can ask that she is sent to come serve a sentence, no matter what the situation may be?
Yes, so that's the point we are making. So in furtherance of this, for me, when the Ofori-Atta matter came up about 2 months ago, 2 to 3 months, about 2 months ago, I made a call that we would soon have to go and picket at the U.S. Embassy to employ the U.S. ambassador to send a message to his seniors, his superiors, that we beg them, they shouldn't let politics enter the matter. They should bring them down. That was Ofori-Atta, and now we'll add Madam Sedinam Tamaklo Ationu. They should bring them down as soon as the extradition proceedings are done. But my brother, like I keep also saying, do we need to spend all this time and money fighting the extradition proceedings when both political parties and the leaders of the parties can prevail upon their respective members to calm down quickly is the word.
Okay. That's a very important point because when I was speaking to lawyer Frank Davis, who is part of the legal team for Kenneth Ofori-Atta, I brought this issue up that the party can admonish and find ways to get him to come to the country. So same can be done for Madame Tamaklo Ationu, so that, as you say, the international embarrassment, as you've put it, would be stopped. But in the future, in cases like this, how do we make sure that we do not have persons who are standing trial, getting out of our jurisdiction? Then we would have to go through all of these processes again to have them face whatever charges that is being leveled against them.
Well, that's the $1 million question. I said $1 million question because, you see, when a person is standing in trial, because Ghana, we generally don't have the best of medical attention, if the person proves to the court that the kind of medical attention he or she needs can only be offered outside Ghana, and that's the word I use is proves. If the person proves, so it's clear to the court based on all the evidence that the person must go, then there's not much that can be done. So even if we were to improve our health facilities, which government is doing, etc., there will always be reasons for people to travel. So we'll only hope that as we are also talking, this talk, we're exhorting ourselves, we are preaching to ourselves that we shouldn't do this kind of things. We should eschew such behavior. So it's an eclectic approach, making sure that as society, we make it very clear to ourselves that we don't countenance such behavior, fleeing from the jurisdiction and not coming back. And also, we'll look at how to improve the medical facilities to obviate the need to travel for medical care, and then other things. So let the debate continue. But what is also clear is that you cannot pass a law to say nobody will travel during a trial. It looks like if we were to do that, it will result in some needless death. So let's take it on a case-by-case basis. Let's also note that that's how come when a person is standing trial, the person is admitted to bail, and then there are bail conditions. I went to court in 2015, and the Supreme Court gave a decision called Martin Kpebu number 1 versus Attorney General number 1. So that one says that when you stand surety for an accused or a suspect, and that accused or suspect absconds, the bail bond, the amount written in the bail bond, the word bond is a contract, you pay. So in this Tamaklo Ationu case, Alex Moult, who was the previous chief executive of the National Petroleum Authority and also previously GNPC, he had to pay. They paid about $5 million. That's the bail bond. So maybe we'll make the bail bonds high enough. So like Sedinam's own, maybe we'll calculate all the monies involved. So you increase the bail bond. So when the person absconds, in the interim, these people will be taken to court and then they will pay. They are even lucky that now the law under Kpebu number 1 versus Attorney General number 1 is that they will pay the bail bond. But before December 2015, those people were also taken to jail for 6 months. That's if you signed a bail bond for somebody and the person ran away and you couldn't bring the person back, the court will send you to Nsawam or whichever jail for 6 months. But the Supreme Court said, no, we shouldn't do that anymore. Okay. The bail bond is a contract. So in that case, pay what you promised. That's what you signed you would pay. So let's increase the bail bond too. So at least we've mentioned 3 solutions in this interview. Other people too can weigh in and we'll see what will happen.
And the final question, would it be fair to say that these trials of Sedina Tamaklo Ationu and Ken Ofori-Atta could be used as a test to rate the Attorney General, whichever way that it goes?
I didn't hear the last part. To do what with the Attorney General?
I'm saying that would it be fair to rate the Attorney General on these 2 cases, depending on how it goes?
would it be fair to, please repeat the last one?
I am asking that, would it be fair to the Attorney General to be said that he's performed poorly or done well based on these two very important cases?
Oh, he's definitely done very well. He's done well because, remember, Sedina was convicted in the Akufo-Addo regime, and for more than a year, or about a year, Akufo-Addo couldn't, Godfrey Dame, they didn't at least visibly reach this stage of arresting Sedina. So if you look at Dr. Ayini under James' administration, his efforts have yielded in the arrest. So definitely, we say that Dr. Ayini has done extremely well, and the same for Ofori-Atta. Ofori-Atta's own, you would say that he was in Ghana. He left just before President Mahama was sworn in. Ofori-Atta, so we blame Kissi Ejabin. You know, the evidence shows that Kissi Ejabin didn't investigate the case. He chose to sit on it. He was suppressing the case until after Ofori-Atta left this jurisdiction. I was about to show you the diary of action. You can contact me after. I will send it to you. My phone is just gone up. You see that the special prosecutor started the investigations on the 29th of January last year, 2025, when Ofori-Atta had already left on the 6th of January. And there is evidence that Kissi Ejabin has very extensive relations with Ofori-Atta's relations. So he was playing it soft on Ofori-Atta and allowed Ofori-Atta to abscond before he now started the investigations. So you see that, yes, this one other reason why it's good we had to change the Akufo-Addo administration. We had to kick the NPP out. If we hadn't kicked the NPP out, all these cases that have come out, they wouldn't have come. You see that they were suppressing all these cases. Attorney General was suppressing some, Kissi Ejabin was suppressing others. Yeah, it was a game of cover-ups. So it's good we sack the NPP and we can get post-regime accountability.
Right, lawyer, thank you very much for your time. Your lawyer Martin Kpebu is a private legal practitioner speaking to us there on the detention, the news of the detention of the former Maslock CEO, Sedina Tamaklo Atuonu. Now, let me just share with you why this is important for us to discuss. Well, she's former Maslock chief executive, and she was tried in absentia and sentenced to 10 years in prison in April 2024, alongside Daniel Axim, a former chief operating officer of Maslock. Now, Axim was jailed for 5 years with hard labor for causing financial loss of 90 million cedis to the state after Tamaklo Atuonu absconded while on court-approved travel abroad for medical reasons and failed to return to the country. And the former Maslock boss's woes began in 2017 after an investigation by Yoko showed fraudulent disbursements of funds during her tenure. She was accused of making unauthorized commitments resulting in financial obligations totaling 61.74 million cedis for the government. Lots of it, you know, appropriating 500,000 cedis of Maslock funds for personal use after it was returned from a private microfinance company, withdrawing 1,816,000 cedis in tranches after the Maslock board approved 1,706,000 for Maslock funds. Out of the 1,816 for the sensitization program, only 1,300 cedis was spent on refreshment for some beneficiaries in the Volta, Greater Accra, and Brong-Ahafo regions. Also appropriating only 579,800 cedis out of the sum of 1,465,000 meant for the victims of the Kantamanto market fire disaster in 2020 or 2013. So a lot of them, and well, let me add this one: paying herself and her deputy 28,445 and 27,486 Ghana cedis respectively purportedly in lieu of leave. So these are some of the accusations that go ahead being charged for 10 years. And of course, that was in absentia. We'll follow up on that story and bring you more details of that subsequently. Right. So we're back in here and we're going to continue with our conversation about the Kennedy Agyapong campaign for the January 31 presidential primaries. But Mr. Watson, so some of these things, the reason why people are not happy with the former government, I mean, the NPP government led by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Yes, I mean, I keep saying that we all don't want to encourage these things to happen. I mean, we need people who are very strong and bold to be able to choose the right people to occupy these positions. You know, we must have a leader who take monitoring very, very important, right? Because, I mean, you can't just be giving positions to people and refuse to monitor. You understand? For instance, the Auditor General's report that recently came.
Right.
Yeah, it's appalling. How can we have $7.9 million of money gone to people just like that when Ghanaians are suffering? When the hospitals that were supposed to be built, they are unable to execute them. So these are the things that we are talking about. That's why we are all pushing for a bold leader. But, I mean, going forward, we've made mistakes. We understand. We've admitted on several platforms. Even the former vice president has admitted on several platforms that we made so many mistakes. But it's just the inconsistencies in things that he says. And that is why some of us, we really want to have someone who has a very clear-cut vision, who has a blueprint that presents hope to the youth and the future. So these things, yes, I support whatever will bring justice, things that will, any action that the government will take to recoup our monies back. I support it 100% because you cannot just one person just embezzle such huge funds and then we'll leave you to go scot-free. No, hell no.
Right. So back into the conversation of Honorable Kennedy Agyapong and his candidacy for presidential primaries. Working for him, what can you tell us are some of the things that you've known about him that maybe at first or people outside may not know about him? Okay. So I realized one thing about Honorable Kennedy Agyapong that I really want to. People do know that he's very bold. Right. He takes decisions that are very outright, decisions that a regular person may not be able to take. And that is why I feel that Honorable Kennedy Agyapong, he brings hope. Okay, you know, I was saying this thing last time. You know, sometimes maybe you have your car traveling somewhere, going to the village, going very far, traveling very long distance, and on your way, you may be encountering some problems in your car, maybe overheating or your tire or something, maybe at night. What happens? You will still be traveling, and then you may see some light. Then it brings you hope that, oh, at least I'm getting to a city that when we get there, some people can help me to fix my tire or my overheating can be sorted out. That is the hope that I'm seeing in Honorable Kennedy Agyapong. Getting closer to him, he brings hope. He tells you what is supposed to be done. He's the only candidate amongst the five, who has shown us what he wants to do and how he's going to do it. He's going to do it. Proper blueprint. He has shown us that he actually has a compelling and constant message that the youth sees hope in the youth see hope in Honorable Kennedy Agyapong. So being with him, I see that I hear people say before that he wouldn't talk to you well, he's that, he's black. Bro, I've sat down, watched his tapes, listened to him very carefully, and I've compared it to moving with him. And I realized that he only wants discipline and only wants things to be done well and well. If you have a leader like this, we wouldn't be having all these kind of issues where people would just be taking our monies anywhere and just acting anyhow without any proper monitoring, without any proper supervision. So getting closer to him, I've realized that he is the man of hope. He's the man who gives hope. He's the man who, when you see the things that he discusses with you, will let you know that there is hope for the future. In that boldness of how he speaks is where some people say that there may be a lack of emotional intelligence as to the right words to say at a particular time, and that is not one that is characteristic of someone who can lead the party and eventually be a president. Is it not true that sometimes also it gets overboard?
You know, we all have our challenges.
Right.
In this world, we all have our challenges. People are seen as angels outside, but when you get to their homes, they do terrible stuff. People beat their wives, people insult their wives, people disrespect their family, people do a whole lot of things under the carpet, under the bed. They sweep it under the bed. Okay? These are dangerous people. These are the people that sometimes they do certain things and you'll be overwhelmed by their actions because you think that you don't expect such a person to be doing so. Honorable Kennedy Agyapong has had his challenges in this all over some time ago. He has been, he's a straightforward person. Sometimes his emotions override him, but that was then, okay? You know, the Bible says that when I was young, I was acting as young, but when I grew up, became an adult, I have to act like an adult, right? So when you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. The moment you decide to take an action, the moment when you, as we speak now, when you are in your bedroom, you can wear your regular T-shirt or your pajamas and walk around. But when you're coming on set, or even when you're in your office, you can just remove your shirt and then feel the breeze wherever it's coming from.
Right.
But when you come and sit here, it's a different thing. It doesn't make you a hypocrite. It makes you that where you find yourself, you are supposed to be who you are now. That is how it's supposed to be. And we have seen him do so. We have seen him being a different being. He has been a very strong and a refined gentleman to occupy the position that he wants to occupy. So I don't see anything wrong. What is important is the job. We must get the job done. That is what is important. Are we going to bring someone who will wear a white cloth, but inside him is dirt? No, we don't want that. We want someone who will show his real character, who will present himself to you as him, and then you will know how to deal with him. Hypocrisy is bad, and that is what is killing us. Today, I wasn't in charge of the economy. Tomorrow, your wife says somewhere that my husband has changed the economy. My husband did this. Even in 2018.
You are talking about Dr. Bawumia?
Yes, I'm talking about Dr. Bawumia. In the inconsistencies in the way he does his stuff, that is not what we are looking for. We are looking for someone who has been strong, someone who has been straightforward, someone who has been very, very straightforward and consistent for all this while. Okay, in 2018, Anado tweeted at 11:50, 8th February 2018, that Dr. Bawumia is handling the economy well for him and all that. And then later on, he comes to tell us we hear things from Nana Komia Dems that Dr. Bawumia was in charge of the economy. So who is telling us the truth? And these are the things that you see, the inconsistencies in our statements that we make. Things that we have seen with our eyes, things that we've heard with our ears, seen by our own eyes, that we've been involved in the things that they've been doing. We have seen them do so, but now they tell us different things. Why would you have do so? But now they tell us different things. Why would you be inconsistent in your actions and then you want to be the President of the Republic of Ghana? You can't get there.
There are 5 candidates. Is Dr. Bawumia the strongest opponent for Kennedy Agyapong?
Well, that's what they say.
For Kennedy Agyapong.
Well, that's what they say.
in actual